And welcome to something just a little bit different. What you are seeing right now is a piece of fan fiction that is notorious for being pretty bad. And I'm going to go ahead and read at least some of it. I don't know how far I'll get. I probably won't complete it tonight, just because it's actually pretty long. There's a whole 8 chapters. And I think the chapters get progressively longer as we go along. But, yeah, here. I got some Metroid music on hand here. It's only fitting. And so yeah, let's begin. Hello, people. This is kinda a weird story, but I think it's cool, no apostrophe, so I hope you like it. This is my first story, so no flamies? Thanks, K-Lol. Chapter 1. The Big Dance. It was 3 days before the Big Dance. Yes, I am going to read all typos as they are. Ridley walked up to Samus. He was really nervous. He had never gone on a date before, and Smouse, which sounds kind of like Klaus, but was really pretty. So he finally got enough courage and went up to her locker. Samus? Samus looked up. What do you want? Do you... do you want to go to the dance with me? Samus said, okay. Ridley was really happy. He was going to go on his first big date. Wow, thought Ridley. I hope Samus is my girlfriend. I'm the luckiest guy in the damn school. 3 days later, it was the big dance. Everyone was there. Hey, Ridley, a voice sneered. Damn it, exclaimed Ridley. Oh no, it's Kraid and his gang. Over walked Kraid and his cronies. What do you want, blubberbrain? Samus inquisited? Not sure why there's a question mark there, but okay, whatever. Well. Looks like little Ridley's got himself a girlfriend. Also, I just realized I can't actually see the chat here, so I should probably, like, go ahead and pull it up on my phone. And yeah, nothing new since then. Okay. Back to the reading. Ooh. Watch it, blubberbrain, or I'll blow you and your little crew way up in the air, Samus responded. Kraid's eyes narrowed. Looks like you win this time. But don't you worry, we'll be back. Come on, boys, Kraid declared. Yeah, that sure was a heck of a threat there. Yeah. Everyone in Kraid's gang laughed and walked away. No apostrophe. Samus and Ridley were all alone. Don't mind those damn people, Samus. They're stupid people. Yeah, I know, answered Samus. Then the music started playing really slow. People everywhere stared, slow dancing. Hey, Samus? Do you want to dance? Ridley, without the E, proposed? Samus looked down. I never learned how to dance before, she declared. Ridley smiled. Don't worry, it's easy. Yeah, apparently this is being said because there's a quotation mark there. Samus smiled nervously. Okay, and they started to dance. Wow, Samus alleged. It's really easy. And they danced until it was time to go home. At the end of the night, Samus and Ridley were walking home. Samus? I love you, Ridley declared. Really? Inquired Samus. Yeah. And there's no starting thing there. It must have got put up there for some reason. Not really sure why. Ridley? Yeah, Samus? I love you too, Samus Disturbed. Sorry. I almost said that correctly. And then in the soft moonlight, the two lovers kissed. But then it was cut short because Samus had to go home now. See you tomorrow, Samus, Ridley exclaimed. Damn, thought Ridley. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So, before I go on to the next chapter, let's just kind of look at what's wrong with this. First off, there's the elephant in the room. At least I think I'm using that right. The fact that Samus and Ridley are going out together, because, you know, got dragon thing who kills your parents. Yeah, I totally love him. And then Kraid, this giant, like, 100-foot thing, is just a schoolyard bully that's easily scared away. I don't know. You might have thought this chapter wasn't that bad, and you're actually right. It wasn't that bad. There's plenty worse. So, up next, we have Chapter 2, Sleepover of Surprises, Part 1. Thank you so much for the good reviews. I like to imagine that's being read sarcastically, or said sarcastically. I'm so sorry it took so long to update, but I'll try to write more often now. Okay, I talk too much. Here we go. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Okay. So yes, Chapter 2, Sleepover of Surprises, Part 1. Oh, and because somebody's probably gonna point it out, there is a different version of this right here. But, I'm just electing to read this version because I don't know why. So yes, Chapter 2, Sleepover Surprises, Part 1. One day, Samus and Ridley and her friends Ted, Mandy, Robbie, 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, Helen, and Tia Wan were at a sleepover. Yeah, you know what? I just have to address this right now. The 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006. Because up here, bye, that's her username. And for some reason she decided to self-insert herself. That was probably a bit redundant, but oh well. And instead of just coming up with like a fake name or something, she just uses her ridiculously long username, which, yeah, okay, that makes it real easy to read. But anyway, Samus's parents were off on a business trip. Yeah, with Batman's parents. And weren't, without any, at home, so they could do whatever. What should we do now? Samus quizzed Missy and Z, her friends. I know, declared Ted. Let's play Truth or Dare. Except that wasn't actually said, so... True dat, Samus and Co. said. Yes, I know it's company. I don't know how to play, confessed Tia Wan. Tia Wan... Everyone groaned. Then they laughed really loud. Ha ha ha! Except one Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who was too cool to laugh. It's real easy, said Helen, who had been Tia Wan's neighbor and best friend since kindergarten. And again, no ending quotation mark. Helen and Tia Wan secretly liked each other, but were always too afraid to tell each other their true felonies. Oh boy. Yeah, I'd be scared to tell my felonies too. All you have to do is to take turns and ask truth or dare, and then the person will choose one, and you have to choose a question for them that they have to answer no matter what, and if they choose dare, then you choose a dare that they have to do, and it's really funny, explained Helen. And that was probably the world's longest sentence right there. A-okay, declared Tio-on. Everyone cheered. How about Samus goes first? Ridley proposed slyly. Oh, brother, Samus groaned. Looks like I'm out of damn luck. Samus concedist. Truth or dare? Ridley smiled like a bear. Whatever the hell that means. Truth. Riddle me this, riddled Ridley. Have you ever stolen something? Yes, stolen. All eyes turned to Samus as she fiddled with her fingers. Well, there, without an E, was this one time. Go on, Ridley maniacally stated. I'm gonna pronounce it like that. Well, I was at Keaton's General Store, and there was this Green Day CD I wanted. Yeah, I didn't have enough money. So, well, Samus was embarrassed. Ha 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 ha. Ridley expressed himself really loud. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 sighed, ruling her eyes. I'm guessing that's supposed to be rolling? You and your petty crimes, especially for such a sellout band. Wow, you're so angsty, noticed Ted. Ugh. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 moaned and went back to filing her nails with a nail filer. As opposed to, like, a saw blade or something, I don't know. Everyone laughed really loud, ha ha ha, except 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who the joke was directed at. Okay. I think it's Ted's turn. Alright. Okay, yeah, no. What the well, okay, cool, whatever. Ted coolly replied with a snap. Everyone rolled their eyes, including me, and giggled, except for 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who was too busy listening to My Chemical Romance on her iPod Nano. You wouldn't think this line is significant, but it actually kind of is. Remember the fact that there's an iPod Nano. Here I am. What do you choose? Everyone wondered. Dare, Ted de-snapped. Well then, Mr. Snappy, let's see you snap at this one, was Samu's clever... Samu's. I love that one for some reason. Was Samu's clever remark. Everyone laughed except for 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who couldn't hear because her iPod was too loud. By the way, take a shot every time that... Restart this chapter and take a shot every time I say 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006. You'll be drunk in no time. We're going to spin a bottle, and you have to kiss whoever the bottle lands on. Oh no, Ted lamented. But what if it's Tio-on? Well, you have to do anyway, because that's the rules of the game, Samus affirmed. I have a bottle, Mandy made known to the people. The bottle spun around, and a runod, and a rundo. God. Around and a runod and a rundo. Like, how the hell do you misspell that when the word is right there? Until it finally landed on 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006. Looks like I have to kiss 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, Ted announced. Very well. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 angstily agreed to. But this is only for this stupid game. You never have, or ever will, have a chance with me. Yeah, okay, Ted mentioned, and he sneakily stalked over to 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 and got real close. Let's just over with. Then Ted leaned down and gave her a kiss, and everyone giggles. And he tried to put his hands in her hair, but she did not let him, and she slapped him and at her because she was really strong. Once again, world's longest frickin' sentence. In your dreams, blubber brain. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 Pond. Yes, I know it's pond, but I have to pronounce things stupidly when they're spelled that way. Also, I'm pretty sure blubber brain was the insult used in Chapter 1, so real originality there. Hey, my brain is not made out of rubber. Rubbermaid, Ted pointed out. I'm not so sure about that, Robbie snapped back. Hey. Everyone laughed except 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who didn't think the joke was very funny. Okay, it's Tiawan's turn, everyone agreed. Correct, Tiawan. I choose truth. Okay, we get to ask one question, Samus reminded Tiawan. What is your deepest, darkest secret? Tiawan looked nervous. I like someone in this room. That statement brought a lot of commotion because everyone wanted to know who Tiawan liked, except 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who was completely uninterested. Is it Samus? Is it Mandy? Is it 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006? Actually, Tiawan wrapped his arm around Helen, who was sitting next to him, and closed in and gave her a very big kiss. Everyone cheered and clapped their hands, except for 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who was downstairs pouring herself a glass of lemonade. Helen, Tiawan said after they were done kissing. I've always loved you since I met you, but I was too afraid to tell you. Tiawan, I love you too, Helen confirmed, and the two lovebirds kissed again, until everyone told them to stop, except for 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who wasn't back from getting a soda yet. So is she getting a lemonade or a soda? Which one? Which one, fanfic? A-okay, Tiawan shouted. Let's finish the game. Okay, if you want me to write, more, then please review. Who knows what will happen next? Okay. And, yeah, here comes probably the worst chapter. And here's the fun part. There's two versions of this chapter. There's a quote-unquote censored version, and then there's the uncensored version. Guess which one I'm reading? Or excuse me, the unrated edition. So yes, this is basically Chapter 3. Samus is pregnant, the unrated edition. Hello people, I received some requests for the extended edition of Samus is Pregnant, so I decided to post it as a standalone story. Also, I will soon post a special of Sleepover of Surprises soon, so be on the lookout. Don't think that was ever released. This is rated M for sexual content, so do not read unless you are legal and you are old enough. Thank you! So yes, Samus is Pregnant, the unrated edition. Samus and Ridley had been going out for 6 months now. It was a coincidence. It was a coincidence, considering that most teenage relationships exist for 2 months, according to a video. Everyone was really surprised, because Ridley killed Samus's parents. Oh, sorry, that's not what it says. Because they hadn't expected the relationship to last so long. Not even Sames or Ridley thought it would last so long. And that says things. Right. God, every typo in this is, like, soul-crushing. Also, I need a sip of water. Okay. Right now, Samus and Ridley were at Ridley's house. Ridley's parents weren't at home because of a business trip. I wonder where I heard that one before. And Samsu didn't have to be home until 1 o'clock. Right now, it was only 11:30. They were on the couch, and it was quiet. So, Samus, what do you think of, world politics? Right, Ridley, without any made conversely, Ridley, I don't care about things like that, Samus asserted. Ah, Ridley admitted. There was a kind oif silence that happens when people don't know what so say to each other in a relationship. But Ridley has something on his mind. And I'm scared to find out what it is, as if I don't already know. Samus, Ridley also, yay, these are commas. Right there. These are periods. Samus, Ridley approached. Yes, Ridley? Samus question... Samus question answered. You know how, well, we've been going out for a long time, longer than the average, and well, I agree, Samus nodded with an unnecessary K. Yeah, you don't spell 9 with a K. Well, you know how, you see, Ridley seemed unholy. This fanfiction is unholy. Ridley? I understand what you mean, Samus understood. Samus, are you sure about? Ridley started, but it was too late. The train had started to roll, and it was impossible to stop. Teen hormones are a problem, and they can lead to more than is bargained for. Samus and Ridley found out the hard way. Samus hooighed Ridley and kissed him on the lips. Ooh, how scandalous. Why? Because I have no idea why. Also, hello, Joe JS16. Then Ridley kissed her back. Samus then proceeded to take off her clothes so that she was now naked. Ridley did so as well. There was a second because it was awkward to not have any clothes on in front of your, oh boy, significant other. Ridley, are you sure about this? Samus nudely pondered. But Ridley answered by kissing her neck. Samus could not take it anymore because there was much sexual tension. She grabbed Otto Ridley and started to sex him up. Ridley was going insane and could barely handle the pressure. This continued until they broke down all bare, like with an E, ears, and began to have sexual intercourse. They love-made for 10 minutes, but it was over far too quickly than it had started. Too quick for comfort, as Samus was soon to learn. The hard way. On. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that either. The next morning, Samus wasn't sure where she was. I'm pretty sure I'm in hell, but... Then she remembered that she was at Ridley's house. Then she noticed that she was in Ridley's bed. Then she noticed that she was naked. Ah! Samus woke up the whole neighborhood. Oh, no, neighborhood. Sorry, excuse me. I don't blame you. Samus, is something wrong? Ridley noticed as he coke up. Yay, drugs. Except not really. Oh no, he fearfully exclaimed. Ridley, what if... Samus worried. Ridley was cooler and didn't lose his cool. Department of Redundancy Department. Dude, it's okay. My friend told me that it can't happen the first time, so never worry. It's okay. Ridley ascertained. There we go. Okay. Samus tried to convince herself. After all, who doesn't think it could happen? It could happen after just one time. Okay, we'll get there. Unfortunately, they were dead wrong. 1. It had been some weeks, and Samus was at Helen's house. Mandy and 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 were there too. It was the morning, and Samus was feeling a little sick. The problem was, everyone else was healthy in her friends and family, so it wasn't likely the cold or the cholera. Interesting choice of disease. Something was up, and Helen was about ready to explode. Samus, I think we have an emergency. Helen imploded. Well, at least there's no mess if she imploded. Okay, calm down, Mandy controlled. She was the kind of girls who could keep their cool in a disaster. Samus, we are all worried, but there's only one wait. Oh, be sure, implied Mandy. Samus looked at her feet. But where do I get one on those? Samus speculated. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 broke the silence. I have one. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 made known. She reached in her black handbag and picked up a small wrapper with something in it. Everyone was shrouded in disbelief. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, why do you have a pregnancy test in your pocket? It was in her bag. Helen posed. Everyone except 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 thought it was a reasonable question. 111 Samus Ridley 2006... 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 rolled her eyes. Dude, I have a life, you know. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 controversially declared. Okay then, Helen calmed down. The only way to be safe is, well... Samus, are you ready? Helen pried. Samus was not ready, but it was the only way she could be safe. Okay, Samus decided. It's time. 1. Samus was in Helen's bathroom. She couldn't believe this was happening. A hat if... No, she wasn't going to think about it. Samus tried to calm down, but it was too hard. Only 2 minutes. 1 minute. Samus held her breath and took a look. Oh. Oh no. No. Samus distrusted. Say it ain't so. 1. Somewhere in the town, a phone was ringing. It was Ridley's cell phone. Ridley picked it up. Hello? Ridley answered. He was confused because on the other end of the phone, there was silence. Then he heard Samus say 4 words that would change her life. Ridley, I'm pregnant. Okay, so first off, that's only 3 words, not 4 words. And second off, way to go ahead and just put the spoiler in the title of your chapter. Good job. Thanks, guys. Metroid High School is on a short break for right now, but it'll, no apostrophe, be back soon. Thanks to all fans like Cervantes and Game Dude and Metroid 13. You'll be hearing these names again later on, by the way. Lavaya, 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006. P.S. If you are new, this story is a part of Metroid High School, another story I am writing. The story continues there, no E. So, yeah, we can go ahead and skip over to Chapter 4, The Cholera Conspiracy. Hello, everyone. Thanks you so much for the reviews. I love you all. Ex-pet for Hunter001, who was so mean. Anyway, this chapter is kind of a mystery and a conspiracy, so hang tight. Chapter 4, The Cholera Conspiracy, spelled wrong. Ridley could not believe it. In fact, oh god. In fact, he originally suspected conspiracy. But it was much more than he could expect. He'd bitten off far too much to chew, and now no conspiracy could explain the situation he's landed himself in. Or could it? 1. Samus was at Dr. Bannis's office to have her baby checked. She was worried because she had never been pregnant before. Ridley had told her not to worry and that it would all work out. But Samus couldn't help but feel that Ridley was hiding something from her. Little did she know that there was a surprise on the horizon. Samus, there is a problem, Dr. Bannis addressed. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. Samus was not amused. What is it? Samus cautiously gandered. Also, this one's done, so let's move on to the next song. Oops, wrong tab. Forgot to lower that. What is it? Samus cautiously gandered. It seems there was a repercussion of your sins, Dr. Bannis scolded. Samus was shocked by the lack of religious toleration in the establishment. What seems to be the issue? Samus countered as she narrows her eyes. I don't know how to say this, but you've got... Samus held her breath and could not believe what she heard next. It was a tragedy in the making, and she was the protagonist. The cholera. 1. Yeah, no comment about that. Just because my mind is pretty much already a bunch of mush. Samus fell on her bed and was broken into tears. It was impossible. It was impractical. There was no way it could have happened, but it did. Samus was crying because her life was ruined by the cholera. But there was another reason, because Ridley had to have gotten the cholera from someone else, and Ridley had never mentioned anything of the sort. It was a mystery, and Samus was trying to find out. 1. Around that time, which I believe was the same spelling as in... God, I forgot what chapter it was, but... Around that time, Helen decided to give her friend a call. She was worried because Samus had just experienced her first pregnancy exam. And it was time to hear the results. I just like to imagine that a pregnancy exam is just some kind of test held at a institution of learning. You just sit there and fill out a questionnaire, and that tells you if you're pregnant or not. Samus' phone rang, and she picked it up. Oh, God, the lack of apostrophe S makes that sound way stupider than it has any right to be. Hello? She inquired the person on the receiving line. Samus, how did it go? Helen grilled her girlfriend. Helen, there was a surprise, Samus tearfully made known to her peer. Is it a good surprise? Helen hoped for the best. Samus paused to catch her cool and composure. Helen, I have the cholera, she declared with vengeance, which is spelled wrong. Ah! Exclaimed Helen with a scream of the gods. It couldn't be. But then, maybe. Samus, there might be something you should know. 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006. She has the cholera too. Samus hung up the phone. She was in disbelief. It made sense. But it couldn't be true. It was too much of a conspiracy for the truth. Or was it? 1. For the third time, a phone had rang. Ridley cautiously picked it up. Oh no, sorry. Ridley cautiously picked it up. Not knowing the full life consequences. Yay for reference to another Shay fanfic. on the other end. It was Samus. She was disapproving. Ridley, have you had an affair with 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006? Samus scorned. Ridley was backed into a corner. It was time for this conspiracy to be brought to an end. Samus, a long time ago, before you and I were a pair, 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 and I, well, Samus was embarrassed. Ridley, you should have told me! Now I have the cholera! I can't believe you! Side-splitted Samus. I was too much to handle. What the hell is that even trying to say? Samus, started Ridley before he was cut off by his scorned girlfriend. Save it, Samus delivered with dark passion. I need time. Time. Sorry that it was kinda a short chapter, but I have big surprises coming soon. By the way, I'm looking for people as secondary characters in the next few chapters. If you want to be included in the story, I don't know how I saw that as 2. My eyes are probably shit, that's one. If you want to be included in the story, just send a review and put the name that you want me to use in the story. This is going to be so cool. Until next time, AN Review R&R. I'm guessing AN is author's note, but Review R&R. No idea. Okay, so let's see, how long have I been going for? Yeah, I'll go ahead and do another chapter. Chapter 5, The Dark Surprise. Hi people, thank you everyone for all the reviews and not the flames. Grrr. Also, thanks to Cervantes, who this chapter is dedicated to. The sea will be long, so RR. Also, I have learned some tricks from a poetry conference I went to in Skull, so I spiced things up with words. Oh boy. Time. 3 weeks had passed since the cholera conspiracy. And for conspiracy, I'm sure someone whose brain isn't melted can make some kind of connection to sands and yeah, I don't know. And for Samus, it was just the beginning. Dark lights had confused her soul, and it was a burden she could not comprehend. She sat in her bed grasping the straws that had come loose. Straws that poisoned the water of life. Lightness. Darkness. Samus could not understand the feelings that gripped her apart over the 3 weeks. Forces were turning her away, but it was a force that could not be explained with the words. Yeah, this fanfiction can't be explained with the words. Grip was squeezing her like a lemon. The real kind. Okay. It was like a dream. Only this time, it was for real. Think. Reality. It sat acting like a chainsaw, and she could not go back to Ridley. Not now. Not like the past. She knew she still was loved, but there was something that was impossible to ever go back. Temporary longevity. All of a sudden, Samus screamed. She was losing control over her conscious, spelled wrong, and there was a new force rising. It was like Samus, only it was Dark Samus instead. She could barely fight to take over her actions, and she was becoming wired. It was impossible to know what would happen next, until it happened. This was her cholera. But soon, she knew it could not contain. Confession, possession, obsession. 1. Ridley knew there was a crisis, and he was meeting at his house. There was also Ted, Robbie, Tiawan, and Smiley, the new kid. Hell of a name you got there, Smiley. The tension was emergency, and it was about to implode. What am I going to do? Detonated Ridley. Dude, calm down. It's all cool. Smiley conformed. Yeah, okay. I'm not so sure that's a great assuage. Ted confusingly used vocabulary that not everyone knew. God, it pains me reading this. Okay, everyone, we need not to panic, and we need to think of a solution, Tiawan dictated. Everyone was quiet, and they all thought about the problem. It was quiet conundrum, and there was not a solution hat everyone could think of. Samus was not forgiving, and especially she was acting strange, like she was becoming dark. Ridley did not like to think about this, and he didn't. Little did he know that this was much more to think than he though. If I was you, I'd apologize, spelled wrong, to the girl and say I'm sorry. Smiley permitted cool. People agreed with this, but Ridley was not so cleverly amused. But when would I do? Ridley contended. Tomorrow, everyone consensused, and it was agreed. But little did the meeting know that there was a new darkness on the horizon. Darkness. 1. It was a day at Metroid High School, and things were bright and sunny. It was like the day that Ridley asked out Samus, but it was not that day ago. Ridley was ready to apologize, still spelled wrong, but something was strange. There was a crowd, spelled wrong, and Ridley wanted to see what the commotion was. It turned out there was a new kid, and he wore a black cloak with some chains, and he had blue hair that was natural, that he didn't dye. Wrong dye. When he walked, he was hot, angsty. God, I forgot about this line. He was hot, angsty, and he had a bad ass. I love that so much. He had a bad ass. When someone asked him what his name was, he said it was Cervantes. Cervantes. Ridley engraved in stone. It was a name he never knew, but he would never forget. You see, there was a problem that was right around the corner, and Ridley could not bargain for the furniture. Samus was on a chair being angsty, and Cervantes thought that she was her type. He sat down next to her and began to woo her with his collar. Hello, Cervantes began. Hi, returned Samus. You look very beautiful, and you're angsty, Cervantes related. I'll see you around. Samus was amazed by this man. He thought he was beautiful, and they just met. But was angsty good? No. Yes, no, yes. No, yes! Samus was battling herself, and she almost missed the boat. She would think of Botu this later, but not later as she decided. Yeah, okay then. 1. Inside her head, there was another battle. Samus against Dark Samus. Cholera against Samus. It was a battle that could not be broken, and no Surrogant. I know it's sergeant, but you know what I'm doing. Could explain the situation. It was too late. Too late. Too late. 1. After school, Samus was confronted by Ridley, who was anticipated. The day had been very long, and he was ready to make up for the problems he had created. But was Samus? I'm sorry. Will die, apologized to little effect. It's too late for love. Samus deflated his balloon, spelled wrong. Ridley was out of his mind. But what are Ito talking about? He disillusioned. Ridley, I'm Cervantes' girlfriend now. Samus shocked the populace. Time stood still, but kept going for Ridley. This was impossible to comprehend. What the hell? But Samus, what about... But Ridley was cut off because Cervantes came out of the door and dared with debonair. Goodbye, Samus ultimated, and Ridley was left alone in the cold. Too old. Too cold. 1. Ah! Samus fought with Dark Samus for control. She could not believe she dumped her boyfriend, but it was too late. Or not. Dark Samus, you suck, bad-mouthed Samus. Ha ha ha, little girl. The cholera will soon devour you, and I will control your body, Dark Samus snapped back. Samus snarled at her opponent and continued to the battle that would determine. Determine what? 1. Cervantes and Samus went to many places that were cool, like Hot Topic, and other places that angsty cool people chill. They ate some things, but the date was over pretty quick than it had started. Samus remembered her first date with Ridley, but Dark Samus was in control, and there was no stopping the lust. Let's go to my house, Cervantes proposed. Samus was wary of this request, but she was overcome with passion and was battled by the cholera. Her good judgment. And was battled by the cholera. Her good judgment. Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. There was little to do now. Just hope. 1. At Ridley's house, Ridley was depressed. He had screwed up his relationship, and now he was listening to depressing music. He was afraid that he might become emo, and it was likely, more likely than he could think. He was also thinking about darker things, but it wasn't true. No, it was. No, it wasn't. This was Ridley's battle, and he had things to overcome as well, if he could. 1. Samus was naked and passionate, just like that long ago. So I like how this is included in like how this part isn't just separate like Chapter 3 was. Just like that long ago. But it was different. Because it wasn't Ridley, it was Cervantes. She was exploding in lust, but she kept feeling that it was wrong, but Dark Samus was in control. There was little she could do. This day had been a mind blow, and it was only going to get worse from here, she knew. As Samus fell asleep in Cervantes, just inside of him, Cervantes ate Samus. Murky thoughts clouded her mind. Dark, light, Ridley, Cervantes, love, lust, redemption. This chapter was dark but good. No, it wasn't. I have another on the way, so don't worry, and R if you please. Thanks to everyone whose name I used, and if you want name used, just tell me. Hope you liked LOL. Yeah, no, you know what? I gotta continue this shit show. Chapter 6, Samus joins the football team, Prequel 1. So, before I actually start this chapter, let me take a sip of water. And also, explain that Chapter 6 is a prequel, as the title states, and I'm pretty sure Chapter 7 takes place after Chapter 6, but before Chapter 5. And then there's Chapter 8, which... yeah, this timeline is a whole mess. What a surprise, I know. Hello everyone, a lot has happened Sinek last time I wrote MHS. Thank you for everyone has reviewed. I love you all. This chapter is going to different, and it is what happens before Samus meets Ridley, like a prequel without the U. Lol. I was reading some high school fics, and I realized that not much has actually happened in high school, so I decided to have just that. I might have another chapter like this, but don't worry, you'll find out what happened, with Samus and Ridley soon. Also, please sign up for help make Ridley Samus canon, spelled wrong. I know people say communies don't care about petitions, but what about women's rights? Yeah, what about women's rights? Go to sign up please and make a difference. This chapter is dedicated to Game Dude, who inspired me to write more, and my boyfriend Cervantes, who am in love. Okay, no talk, read. So yeah, let's just talk about this for a second. So, 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 somehow has a boyfriend. And the boyfriend is Cervantes, who is in the story. Except Cervantes is in a relationship with Samus, not 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006, who is also in this fic. That just strikes me as odd. Anyway, Chapter 6. Samus joins the football team. Prequel 1. What the shit? Samus Aran woke from slumber and realized the clock was broken. It was late for school. Thousand. I'm late for test. That's supposed to be phase on, I'm pretty sure. Samus qualmed as she dressed from her clothes. Samus was not the kind of girl who obsesses over clothes and popular songs, so she did not worry about appearances, even though she was still pretty smoking hot, at least Ridley, lol. And again, with the whole, what's the term I'm looking for? Continuity. There we go. Like, she says that she mentions Ridley like Samus, but this is before Ridley met Samus. So, whatever. Late again is C, snip-quipped Mrs. Chozo. Samus is adopted. Her parents were killed from unknown reason, liking games. Yeah, no, it's known why her parents are killed. Frickin' Ridley killed Samus's parents. No time for talks, ma'am. I must catch the bell. Samus average-keened and left Mrs. Chozo and her dog Sparky in dust, and even forgot her lunch. What are we going to do with you? Sarcasmed the missus. She turned on midwife shows like Dr. Phil and Judge Alex, and Rhetorist with Sudoku. Not suicide, the game. Journey songs. 1. Out of breath, Samus stealthed into homeroom in time so her God, I forgot about this too. her nun teacher, Mother Brain, would not notice. Yeah, the freaking final boss from the first Metroid game is just a nun teacher now. Because, you know, why not? And succeeded, just like in Metroid Fusion. And see, here's where my lack of Metroid knowledge comes into play, because I don't know if Mother Brain was in Fusion. Maybe she means Zero Mission, because I'm pretty sure Zero Mission is a remake of the first Metroid, so... yeah, I don't know. She sat down next to her friend Amy, who was as pretty as Samus and had light red hair that sparkled in sun. Amy was kind of obsessed with fantasy stuff, and was obsessed with dragons and Harry Potter and Aragon and stuffs. They were just in time for announcements. And now the news. Casted Principal Gunpei Yokoi. Of course, Gunpei Yokoi being the creator of the Metroid games. Or at least the first one. Today, there are football trying outs for every sect, even girls. Classrooms giggled about the word he said, but Sam's was intrigued. I really wish that was an N. I really do. Football was a sport for boys, but what about girls? After all, Amelia Armstrong made it clear that girls could do things as boys, so why not Samus, who is pretty damn good at the ball? Also, Kraid and gang, please no more of the hazing or suspension will ensue. Rubber stammered Principal Yokoi. All is all. All of Samus's girlfriends, not the love kind, girls can be friends, not gay. We're talking about boys and hot and music, but Samus was phased because she was thinking about football. Earth to Psalms, Mandy levied. Do you agree that Noxus is the hottest than even Zac Efron or Ted Emanuel? Yeah, whatever. Samus coldly brushed and strodes off for practice. What's her knit? Was all girlfriends could wonder as Samus strolled down halls and signed UO for practice. 1. When Smouse signs up for trying football, an unexpected harassment of peer pressure happens. Oh, Samus is joining the football team, rowdied Kraid and his crowny gang. They also made fun of Samus for parts of girdles that are not to be spoken. Unexpectable, scorned Mother Brain, since she was a nun and was not tolerant about jokes such as that. But it was too late because everyone was laughing at Samus for being a girl for football. Even her girlfriends snicked a tad snavely. Samus was running away, but she heard a voice that sounded shady but well-meaning. Psst. You. I have a solution. Avouched the voice. Samus looked, and it was Trace, a kid that seemed that he was more into sketchy than into school. If you want help, you'll need to talk to the game dude, Trace commanded. Take me, submissed Samus, who was kind of worried that the situation might turn into peer pressure and even drugs, but was eager for help for football. 1. The room she was taken to was secret, and not even a teacher could find it. There were computers and monitors everywhere the eye could see with darkness, and even some things that kids shouldn't sell or do in school. In the middle was a figure in a swivel chair that was facing the other side. Well, what do we have? Swilloved around the game, dude. Noon knew his name, but he was sort of like the king or puppet master or mafia of the school. Whenever there was a trouble, he was sure a safe bet. Trace sly smiled. Our girl here has a bit of trouble fitting in on football and needs some help from underground, Trace blazoned. The game dude took a bit of description at Samus and nodded and swiveled away. Ah, Samud, he dictated. You've been quite a help to me in the past, like when you beat up Kraid when he owed me money. I may be able to help you out. Samus was puzzled. However can it work? She pondered aloud. Also, stupid autoplay. Why did that restart? Oh, wait. Gotta... Come on. There we go. Okay. Oh, right, I gotta turn this down. Okay. Samus was puzzled. However can it work? She pondered aloud. The game dude amused. Disguise. 1. There were many people who were trying out at football, and practice was about to begin. What about Samus? All of a sudden, a boy with a metal suite, even with a helmet and arm cannon, and special features came in. Everyone was surprised because they did not recognize the figure, and they thought the suit was damn. But then Coach Houston came in and started the practice. Okay, everyone, it looks like to begin. Since there are no girls, it looks like we can talk about sex and man stuff. Coach Houston womanized. Since boys are pigs, especially teens, everyone lugged loud and made sounds except for Samus, who was trying to fit in and not seem uncomfortable. You, in the metal suit. What your name and what the hell? Houston profaned. Samus shuffled her fete. My name is Justin Bailey, and I have to have this suit because I am allergic to pollutants like global warming, stuttered Samus. So that's the excuse we're going with, huh? Sap liberal, murmured Houston. Okay, anyway, take positions and play the ball. Everyone took positions. Samus decided to be a run backer. Adam Malovich was a quarterback. Weevil, Spire, and Kraid were linbacks, and Keyhunter and Camden were a wide retriever. There were others, but unimportant. The game went well, and Samus was a star. Even Adam the quarterback was impressed. Hey Justin, we should hang sometime. You seem cool. Adam accepted her. He did not know Samus was a girl, but how would anyone? Okay, Samus' gruff voice masked and was excited that Adam thought she was cool. Wow! Mr. Bailey, please come to my office, Houston bumbled. Samus was still in power suit and went inside. There was football's trophies and a portrait of Gary Ford on the wall. You know, Gary Ford. AN, my friend explained that Gary Ford was offered to be on the NFL but decided to run for faux president instead. I don't know about history, but hey, not bad. Yeah, I don't know my presidents either, but isn't it supposed to be like Gerald Ford or something? I don't know. Justin, you seem to be good at football, the coach complimented. Maybe you'll be the NFL or even a lawyer. Yeah. I've got a doctorate, Samus White lied. She left the coach and ran to change out of the power suit that was sweaty. She took a shower and then went asleep. She apparently didn't go home. She just took the shower in the school and slept there. 1. The next day, there was a big game. The team was training, and Adam was taking time to know Justin. So, Justin, you must be new to MHS, Adam keenly observed. Samus was nervous but nodded. That's cool. If you need any help, just call and I'll assist. Adam covenanted. I see, thanked Samus. Time for the game. The game started and everything did good. Samus played as well as Patton Brady. Oh, God. It's supposed to be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Choose one. And was a accession to the team. They were losing only 23-22 at the last 30 seconds. Now, see, if I could actually be bothered to, I would see how feasible of a score this is in football. But I don't feel like doing that. The ball was thrown to Samus and she touched down, but only one problem. The helmet came off. The game was won, but everyone was shocking. Oh, girl, crooned Kraid and gang, and Samus was embarrassed. Houston was freaking out because of the girl on team, but Adam stood in shock. Justin, you're Samus? Adam was choked into submission. Samus was embarrassed. You're fired, Houston trumped, but Adam stepped in. If she's fired, I'm fired, Adam intervened. What are the flustered the coach, but he had to give in because of civil rights amendments and the law. This is high school football, for Christ's sakes. But there was still a problem left. But Samus, there is only one room for shower, and... Samus was choked for 10 seconds and was almost embarrassing. But then she decided that, hey, girls can do anything as boys, even showering. Everyone clapped for the first girl ever to play football in Metroid High School, and she was awarded by Principal Yokoi for her attendance. Who knows, maybe a championship. As for Adam, well, it might be love. Conceivably. Lol, funny twist. What twist? Okay, thanks for reading, and remember to review and sign the petitions. Also, please read my internet boyfriend stuff, especially the Warhammer thing, and his favorite Pirates of the Caribbean Friat Tran confessions. As always, please tell me if you want to be in the story, and you will. More soon, RR. Ay. I'm so close to the end, I might as well just finish it. Chapter 7, Election Insurrection. Hello! Okay, I'm so sorry that I took so long to write again. Thanks for everyone staying the course and remembering the story. Hell, I can't remember the story, and I'm reading it in one go. That's so cool. 52 reviews. Even bads are good. What happened to no flamies? Okay, lots have things happened since last time, and I'm sorry, it's been a time. Cervantes and I aren't internet dating, only friends now, but we're still happy, and it's pretty cool. He still wants people to read things, and he's going to have new stuff soon, so check it out. That was a mouthful. Also, I've taken new classes like Special English to learn new words, and and even make some up. My friends made a new law that we can't use said anymore in stories, so there's more spice and less crap, if you catch the drift. Also, they learned more politics and understandings from Cervantes, so there'll be referencing to today's issues if you notice, because they're hidden. Something tells me they're not hidden. This chapter's dedicated to Sir Sarcasm, because even though you're not being real and mean, the joke's on you because you wrote a nice review even though you're mean, so ha. I'm pretty sure my brain is gonna leak out of my ears at any second now. So yes, Chapter 7, Election Insurrection. Samus Aran, what the hell? Mrs. Chozo freaked out at the teen. Sorry. Samus had powers, but not mind control. Mind reading. So she couldn't figure the deal. Unfortunately, the deal was clear because Samus had a D in Historo, and Chozo was a major. Samus, this is unacceptable under this house. You must succeed or there will be capital punishment. Samus de facto mom venged. Samus wanted to be a teen and dissent and eye roll, but she was afraid of her legal guardian and didn't want to make moves that would make things mad, or she wouldn't be able to go to the mall with Helen and Mandy anymore. And what about even boys? Okay, I'll think of something. Samus Coswald, as she ran off to classes, leaving Chozo Mom in a dust bowl. Minorities. Mrs. Chozo backlashed. 1. In school hadn't begun, but Samus was taking time to convey the messages to her friends, and it was almost an apocalypse. My history day is going to destroy my life, Samus exclaimed to everyone in the entire city who heard. Even construction workers dropped. Okay, dude, it's not the end of the world yet. There still could be time. Situation controlled Amy, who tried her best from turning it into a disaster, but everyone knew a problem. It was only 2 weeks until grades were in, and what was there to do? Questions were stopped because... Oh god. Hello and slip dipplin cop flop clippin slip ditch fizzo sliz. Principal Yokoi embarrassed. Yeah, that's yeah. He tried to be teen, but everyone only groaned and logged at his lack of legit. And he was embarrassed, but the news continued. Today, the majority legislator decided that if anyone in the state becomes class president, that they have an automated A in history from experience and leadership. The principal announced to populists. Not everyone cared about politic crap, but Samus liked the A clause. Note, clauses are in a constitution or law or something, and it says that things happen like freedom or A's and things. In other news, Class President Camden was impeached yesterday because of stealing school money and using it to fund hedges. Oh, God. In the parking lot and buy pork barrels for the hockey team, so there's going to be a total recall on next Tuesday. The class knew that Camden was hungry for power and food, but wow would have guessed his Nixonix. And who would be drafted? 1. Samus was on her way out of school from another day of MHS when she heard a sketch voice echo down the corridor. Psst. Hello? Samus warded off spirits. But it wasn't a spirit. It was only Trace. Samus, the game dude, was black hacking into Power School, and he noticed the problem with your history and the D. Trace intonated. Normally, Samus would have wrecked from the breach of Second Amendment, but she knew that Trace was a man of fine points. What are you getting to? Samus cut the chase. Hasty girl. Trace smiled with a grin. The thing is that the game dude and I formed an exploratory commission, and Webb decided that you would be a possible candidate to lead the school in the total recall. And if you win, then... Trace left the rest up to Samus's imagination. Yeah, I need water. There we go. Samus had never thought about policy and governmental duty before, but this was an intrigue because she remembered the new A clause from the news this morning and knew that if she didn't get an A somehow, that she'd have to take a fifth or suffer the consequence. He'll think about it. Samus non-committed, but secretly everyone knew the reality. The realties. It was going to be an election, but would there be an insurrection? 1. The next day school started. Samus had already cleansed her mind and her decision was clear, but first she had to choose to go to a party. She knew from school news that Republicans like to kill trees, but she liked trees, so she became Democratic. Okay, welcome to the Democrat Caucus. Invited Amy to everyone because she was the leader woman of the Democrats in school committee. And she could run meetings and primaries, and was also a speaker in school senate, but no one cares about student council, so whatever. Yeah, I don't care about anything with this fanfic. Today is when we choose who will run for president, so if there are nominations, now's the time to commit, advocated Amy. There were heads that rolled, but in the end, people made decisions. I nominate Tiawan, Helen endorsed her favorite boyfriend. Some people laughed at his name, but they were kicked out of the party because of anti-immigration. Okay, are there other nominees? Amy wondered aloud to the community. I nominate Samus, Adam Malkovich. He and Samus were almost going out, so this was a shoo-in. Author's note. This is before Samus and Ridley met, so don't freak out, he's not forgotten, okay? Okay, so there. Confirmation that this takes place after Chapter 7, but before Chapter 1. Or after Chapter 6, but before Chapter 1. Because I was pretty sure that was the case, and you'll see why this is odd pretty soon. Okay, that closes the nominations, so it's time to rock the votes. Amy used MTV language. So how caucuses work is that candidates stand in corners, and then people walk over, and whoever has more people wins and is nominated. Amy explained to multitudes. Or no, multitudes, excuse me. When she gave the signal, people walked over to the corners for Samus or Tiawan. It was really close at the beginning, but near the end more people went to Samus because not everyone was too keen on having a Mexico president, and plus Samus was kind of hot. Thank you, voters, and congratulations Congratulations to Samus Aran, who will now be voted at the Total Recall. Everyone pledged delegates to the Football Queen, even Tio1, because he was still friends and a Democrat. Oh yeah, speaking of Tio1, so I nominate Tio1. Helen endorsed her favorite boyfriend, as if she has more than one. But yeah, this only happened in Chapter 2, I believe it was? And this takes place before Chapter 1. So, yeah. Samus had won the Democrats, but what about the election? 1. For the rest of the day, Samus was congratulated by people in the school, except not everyone, because Republicans were not quite as keen on Iranian policies. Before the day was over, Trace and Amy wanted to have a word with the candidate. Good job on the nomination, but here's the deal. Amy began with a sentence. The election is going to be a tough one, but you're going to have some help. Trace and I will be your campaign managers, because I can help out with Democrat votes, and Trace can use underground connections to help with election totals. Amy finished up as Trace nodded with a slyful grin. Okay, this is good, but who am I up against? Samus pondered as she awaited results from her staffers. At lunch, the Republicans had their primary, and Captain Falcon was chosen as the victor, Trace slyly foxed. No idea why Captain Falcon, of all people. Because, I mean, Captain Falcon isn't even from Metroid. He's from F-Zero. So... Helen and Samus were not pleased at the news and reflected it with their demeanors. Captain Falcon was very popular because he was the captain of the track team and held every record, even some that were made up just for him. Some people said that he cheated by using a race car instead of running, but his parents had shitloads of money, so they paid judges and everyone was okay. It's time for strategy. Amy began the plan. Okay, so Captain Falcon will probably try use money to win. But if we speak with truth and say what's right, people will vote. You can't see it, but I'm rolling my eyes. Amy optimized. Trace wasn't so positive because of experience in shady smoker room deals. But he knew that Samus had a shot, except there were Republicans everywhere and it'd be a tough one. Elections had been close, but in the end, someone always won. But would it be Samus? 1. Over the week before the election, there were many deal seals and campaigns. Captain Falcon used his money like everyone thought and bought ads that smeared across the intercom. One even said that Samus, did you know what with a lobbyist. For everyone unclear, lobbyists wait around in the lobby of Congress and buy drinks and tickets for senators. So they vote for high gas prices and less trees. Luckily, Samus was a Democrat, so people knew she wasn't into that shit. It was a bumpy road, but it was time for the debate. Okay, welcome to the 72 Memorial Debates. Principal Yokoi kicked off the dramatics. Everyone knows the candidates, and now it's time to hear about the issues. The first question is for you, Mr. Falcon, journalized Silux, the president of the class newspaper. What are your feelings about global warming? Captain Falcon cooled with a simmering snap. My real question is, what are you feeling about global warming? Falcon sleaze-stepped the issues. All of the Republicans cheered because they were too stupid to understand that Falcon had not answered questions and was only sucking his guts. Okay then. Thank you, Mr. Falcon. God damn it, I looked ahead. Dr. Samus. Well, she did say she had a doctor. Whatever. How do you feel about the World War III? Silex discretionized. All eyes were on Samus as she formulated her position, but she remained cucumber cool and answered, "War is not the option, but if it's necessary, then it must happen for people." Many people clapped, except for the Falcon Republicans who were too stupid to know about wars. Thank you, everyone. That concludes the debate. Shortest frickin' debate ever. And it is time to choose the candidates. But remember not to choose popular people and only who you heart is after. Yokoi Disney Channeled. But everyone knew that people would vote for the populists. But who was the most? One. The votes were just about to be tallied, and Samus was taking a walk through halls when she heard a strange rumbling, bumbling noise from the boiler room. What could it be? She investigated as she opened the door and was shocked to find... Shocked, I say. A political machine. Haha, you caught us trying to rig votes with a copying machine. Snaked up Captain Falcon and ex facto Candon, who were joined with other Republicans. They looked serious, but Samus was too. That's VS unacceptable. Samus furied as she began to use jitsu signs and stances, but Candon summoned bodyguards. Who was it? Kraid and his gang. Luckily, Samus was used to fighting these losers, so she took them all out with her techniques and attacks, and soon they were piled on the floors. You may have defeated idiots, but what about me? Captain Falcon punched Samus, but she dodged, and dumbass Falcon fell out of the window he punched so hard. Candon ran away because he didn't want to get caught, but Hall Monitor Noxus jailed him for conspiracies against the populace. And what about Samus? Congratulations, President Aaron. Principal Yokoi inaugurated Samus to the presidency, and there were many cheers among the crowd, even a few rhinos who were sort of like Democrats. Everything was going well, but right as Samus signed the articles and was about to enact the A clause, a voice could be heard over the announcer. Hello to the people of the school. It is I, Emperor Falcon. I have taken over the office, and I am now the president of the school. Principal Yokoi was befuddled, but he was a bozo cop and didn't even know what to do. The heck is a bozo cop? The school was under siege. Except I think siege is spelled wrong. My first order of business is that Samus Aran, who thinks she is president of class, is arrested for treason against Falcon government. The captain hardlined, as you could hear Kraid and his gang members in the background. Snacking and snickaying at the situation. When she is arrested, she is to be killed and displayed for public appeal. Samus's eyes narrowed. She may have won the election, but would she win the insurrection? The Metroid High School election was over. The Metroid Civil War had just begun. Okay, I wrote that in a huff, so I'm sorry if there were spelling mistakes or grammar bad. Jesus Christ. But I do the best I can. I hope next chapter isn't a year like last one, but things happen in life and you never know. Until next time, live, love, and prosper. I was Star Wars this weekend. I can't wait for the new one with Matt Damon. Not a tricky, but Damon's hot. Yeah, Star Wars, Trekkie. Last chapter. Last chapter. Chapter 8, Endgame Finale. Hello, everyone. Wow, it's been a while. It's been a little more than 3 whole years since I started writing Metroid High School, and I can't believe how many people have loved it. 63 reviews, almost 10,000 hits. I wouldn't have been able to do it without. You guys are the best. Thank you. I was only 11 when I wrote Chapter 1 of Metroid High School, and lots of things have happened since I started writing. But now I'm in high school, and I barely have more time anymore because of school tests and my new boyfriend. He's real, not internet this time. So I don't exactly have time to write fanfic anymore. Sad face. I have had chappies written for months on my hard drive, but I really just want to get the story finished on with life. So I've decided to unload, and take elements from each chapter for one big finale. It doesn't always exactly make sense all the time, which it kind of should make sense. Hello. But hey, it's epic. Hopefully and ties all the loose ends. It's a fitful conclusion. I think that I've had enough. I've had enough too. But I'm gonna finish this. For the talk, it's time for Chapter 8, Endgame Finale. The halls of a high school, Metroid High School, dances, gossip, girls, students, learning. Everything had happened. Samus and Ridley's ask-out, the football, the cholera, and even the election. So yeah, according to this, Samus and Ridley have gone out, even though this takes place after Chapter 7. At least you would think it would take place after Chapter 7, because it kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger-esque thing. Because Samus was to be arrested and killed. So, apparently, Chapters 1 through 5 just either happened in between Chapter 7 and 8, or this is just a load of bullshit. But now war stains. 1. In the hall, civil war was raging before it had even started. Falcon's kitchen cabinet. I learned about this in U.S. history. Andrew Jackson liked his buddies, so he gave them jobs, eating food and partying in the White House. Was in control of the school. Luckily, Samus and friends were not pushovers, so it was a bloody situation. Also, I just realized the music stopped. I don't have any more music queued up, so deal with it. Where the hell was I? Oh, yeah. Samus and friends were not pushovers, so it was a bloody situation. Mandy and Tio-Wan were two of the people who were fighting in the onslaught. No, wait. Fig-Hit-Ng in the onslaught. Teo catch! Helen addicted as her Mexican caught the grenade she tossed at him. With teeth, he pulled out the tad and threw, killing 7 or more Republicans. Too bad one of the key hinters still had a trick up his sleeve, and it was a pistol. It fired at Helen, mortally wounding his soulmate. Tio-Wan, Helen coughed, but was cut off by the river of death. Alan! Tio-Wan was insoluble? Hell if I know. This turned him into a killing machine. He had lost his favorite girlfriend. as opposed to the other one he has. His friend. For war? For what? 1. The underground art room was where Samus, Amy, Adam, and Principal Yokoi were discussing war games. Except not Warhammer or Battlefront, but the kind that countries do before a war. Except, this one was already happening. What are we screwed? Principal Gunpei Yokoi extruded in the room. Luckily, no one noticed his bozo fits and carried on with the meeting. President Aaron, here's the ordeal. Amy and her friend and advisor protrude. Falcon and the Republican Army have learned how to clone key hunters. That's why there's so many bodies everywhere. This did not look like it was going to be a happy ending, but a shadow appeared in the corner, and it was good thing they didn't shoot it because it was only Trace. If you can give me and the game due time, I believe that we can call in reinforcements. Trace cavorted. No one liked industrial espionage, but they agreed that just like Samus said in speech, that things must be different when there's a war. Okay, I see the ideas, but what are we going to do in the meantime? Adam noted that there might not be enough time for Game Dude's scheme, and there were way too many enemies to take down with just bosses and political allies. That's when a voice was heard at the door, and it was someone that Samus did not exactly expect. You have my body, Ridley Legolast. And when everyone turned around, they saw he was Mecha Ridley. Not Metal Ridley, or Meta Ridley. Yeah, I think it's Meta Ridley. But Mecha Ridley. And was in a robotic combat suit like Metroid Fusion. Samus was happy to see him first, but quickly remembered everything. Sex, cholera, Cervantes. Was it too much? Samus, I know that things have happened and maybe I'm too manhandle, but we must fight to save the school. Let's worry about things later because we have lots of ass to kick right now. Samus was speechless, but murmured, okay, because she knew that things were too important to bicker. The football president put on her power suit like when she played football, and together the two robotics joined the battle. There was a lot to deal, but at least they were finally together. 1. Things were a disaster. Bodies were beginning to pile, and the halls were slippery with blood. Two friends, Chris and Johnny B, were with Mandy trying to enter Falcon's office headquarters, through a secret door in the underground of the school. Too bad that Falcon knew the school too and rigged it with mines. Unfortunately for Mandy, she exulted as her body was derailed by explosives. John and Chris felt sorry for their loss, but they knew this was the price of war, and that if they didn't stop Falcon's inflation, it would just get higher. In another part of the battlefront, Samus and Ridley were using their new armor powers to do serious damage to the enemy bodies. Ted, Robbie, Smiley, and the heartbroken Tiawan were also contributing to the death toll, and it seemed that the tide was beginning to rise for the better. That was until an old enemy appeared, this time for the finals. Well, we meet again, crowned Kraid and his goons. You think you can win this war? You'll have to go through us. It's time to reveal the gang. Everyone was shocked as the true identities were revealed of Kraid's gang members, Silex, Noxus, Candon, Weevil, and Spire. The gang war began as Samus, Ridley, Tio, Ted, Smiley, and Robbie got into place to fight the enemies. Ted lunged at Noxus and shanked at him, but Silux was quick to notice and shot Ted in the foot. Both gangbangers were ended, though, when Tio-1 saved Ted's ass by firing Mexican machine guns at them, killing them in the head. But only the head. Silux transformed into a machine gun turret and took out Robbie and part of Smiley. But Samus was quick to the draw and fired a super missile, vaporizing both Silux and Noxus. This did not make Camden happy, and the two ex-presidents battled it out. As usual, though, Samus ended up on top and shot electro powers into his brainstem. That just left Ridley and Kraid. You might have won the gang war, but what about this? Kraid injected enzytes in his arm as he began to grow massive. There was a hole in the ceiling when Kraid stopped getting bigger, and he started to stomp on students and even Ridley. I have you in my foot, Kraid soliloqued, whatever the hell that is, as he was about to step on Ridley's face, but sinners. Mother Brain decloaked from her nun clothes and unleashed her Swiss Guard, that's the Pope Army, hand training at Kraid and the Key Hunters. This gave Ridley just enough time to shoot his eye lasers at Kraid's foot, knocking the evil over. Uh-oh. The Grand Wizard rapped. But it was too late. Fuck you in hell, chanted Ridley, and stuck his suit's robo-tail in Kraid's face. It was a lot of blood, but at least the score was settled. 1. The war was ready to wrap up. Boo, there was one last issue. The imposter president. Samus and her remaining allies were finally able to break into his office fortress. But where was he? Going we here? There was a voice, and as they turned around, down the hall zoomed a race car that was armed like the Batman car in The Dark Knight. Captain Falcon! Samus and co. condoled, but there was little use. It's no use! That guy's sorry. Samus tried her powerful missiles at the car, but they just bounced off the hood and blew the doors off classrooms, exposing the children. Ridley used his mecha suit powers to try to stomp the car, but Captain was too fast with his driving and dodged. His turn. Let's see who's the real president now, bitch! Captain Falcon bellowed the car intercom, and used his presidential codes to arm the rocket tube with a mini nuke. Jesus. Overkill much? When it fired, everyone was sure that this was the end of Samus, and probably the entire town, too. But just in time, her boyfriend jumped in front of the missile and took the blast himself. Luckily, his suit was radiation resistant. Unfortunately, the nuke blast damaged it beyond repair. Ridley was down, and so was Samus. Ha ha ha, my ride is indestructible. A Falcon bandstanded. There isn't a single weapon on Earth that can defeat my juggernaut. That's what we're here for. A sudden voice blasted through the roof, and when the dust cleared, there were 4 figures. It was Shas O'Kais, Ethereal, Kroot, and Tail Deer from Dark Crusade High School. Author's note. This part was written when Cervantes and I were still internet dating. That's long gone, but why waste a story? I told you guys that reinforcements were on the way, the game Dude and Trace revealed over the intercom, and Samus and Ridley were relieved, but not Captain Falcon. Time to seal the deal, Kroot landowed. And while he and Ethereal distracted the Falcon car by racing it through the hall at top gear, Taildreer and Shash did a power combine for one final blow. When the car rounded down the last corner, it unleashed, totaling the Jugger car and ending the driver. There were still last words, however. I may be dead, but you still lose. You've still got the cholera. You're dead as mine. The dead president gurgled as Samus, so only she could hear him. The war was over, but the girl knew he was right. It was only a matter of time. 1. Few people survive in war, but for those who do, it's worth it to save lives. This is what Samus was explaining to the survivors of Metroid High School. All her remaining friends were there, and so were her mom, Mrs. Chozo, and dog Sparky. Gotta have Sparky. Samus was giving a great speech, but she felt the darkness taking hold. Dark Samus and the cholera were finally taking over her body. When she collapsed on the floor, people began to crowd around and cry. Please, is there a way? Ridley cried out to the gun. Wait, didn't Ridley die? I guess he didn't. Whatever. There is, confirmed Dr. Banis, who drove up to the podium in a sport car, and revealing a hypodermic needle of serum in it. You found a cure! Everyone cheered. Dr. Banis turned to her patient. I may not agree with your sex, but I won't see a patient suffer, even a sin widow. The doctor Hippocrates and injected the liquid into Samus's body. The cholera syndromes began to fade away, but the dark was not ready to give up without a fight. Argh! Samus coughed blood, and a white began to flash. As Samus convulsed, Dark Samus began to materialize outside of her body. Ha 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 ha, Dark Samus satanically echoed. Thanks to your cure, I'm finally free. Dark Samus started running around taking down students and teachers and eating their souls to gain power. Now that she was cured, Samus was at full power and did her best to fight Dark Samus before it inflicted too many casualties. Unfortunately, Dark Samus was already far too powerful, and all that Samus could do was knock the helmet off its body to reveal its identity. No one could have expected the truth. Coach Houston? You're Dark Samus? The entire school was shocked in disbelief. Houston only smiled with all his teeth. I admit, I made the cholera. I couldn't have Ridley and Samus be dating because she needs to be a team player and boyfriends take time, Houston explained from experience. There is nothing more important than sports, and you can't stop me. Not exactly. At that moment, the doors flew open, and there was the sound of a gunshot. At the door was President Gerald Ford. You see, I knew it wasn't Gary Ford. Finally spelled it right. If you're wondering, he was still president when Metroid High School took place. Okay, so, remember back in Chapter 2, I told you to remember the iPod Nano? I'm about 99.9% certain that iPod Nanos didn't exist when Gerald Ford was president. With a sniping pistol in his hand and 50 Secret Service agents who took control of the situation, Huston was choked. His idol had just shot him in the face. But you played football. Why? Houston was confounded in the final moments of his life, but Ford explained. Everyone, sports can be fun to play and are good for bodies. But sometimes people take it too far. It's not worth it to make biological tarot or start wars, but as long as you keep it clean, keep it real. The real president finished the speech, and with that he returned to the White House, leaving Ridley and Samus alone. Everything was just about sorted about But there was still one last thing that was troubling Ridley's mind. Samus could tell because they had been going out for a time. And she inquisited, Ridley, what's the issue? Well, it's only 3 more days until the big prom, and they're really gonna have a prom after all this shit? I know we're not together anymore. Ridley shuffled uncomfortably, but Samus was warm with a kiss. Ridley, I can't stay mad at you. You know the love when you feel it. And they kissed in front of the entire remaining school. Everyone cheered, including Principal Yokoi, Shas, Tia-Wan, Amy, Mrs. Chozo, and even Cervantes cracked a grin. Damn, thought Ridley for the final time. I'm the luckiest guy in the universe. Epilogue, 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 epilogue. Except some of these epilogues are misspelled. This one, that one, and that one. Yeah, the others look right to me. Samus and Ridley went to prom together as a couple, but Samus' ex-boyfriends didn't do so bad at all. Cervantes went out with 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 because they were both angsty and thought cool. And Amy went with Adam, not just because of their shared letters, but they had other commons. In George Bush's last minute in office, he excommunicated all aliens. I thought Gerald Ford was president. So Tia-Wan had to go back to Mexico in the middle of the night. Too bad for Bush, he ran for president of Mexico and won. My dad told me that Mexico will probably be more powerful than the United States in a few years, so that's not so bad. I'm almost done. Principal Yokoi decided to retire after the events, but then he learned how to make video games for Nintendo and made the game Metroid based on everything that happened at Metroid High School. As for Samus and Ridley, they decided to stick together and see what happens. They decided to postpone the pregnancy until after marriage, because even though Juno is a movie, teens don't always make parents in real life. And the next time they had sex, Samus remembered to have her own pregnancy test, because that's what prevents babies. After 3 years and 11 days, my fanfiction career has officially come to a close. Thank God. I couldn't have done it without you guys are the best. I've tried a lot of new things when writing, like words and ideas and all kinds of weariedness, and even though some of you don't like it and it didn't make sense the whole time, at least it's something. Mighty number 9. It's better than nothing. I'm going to miss you guys so much, but hey, don't forget to review. Thank you all so much, and never forget, Samus and Ridley forever! I am glad that that's done. I honestly did not expect it to take as much of a toll on me as it did, because holy crap, my brain needs a break. But, yeah, I think that's gonna go ahead and end the stream. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I hoped you managed to enjoy this terribleness. And, yeah, next time will be something. I'm not really sure what. Bye-bye.